Death.
Oh, looky here. Josh is back in the garage with the GTI. Didn't the last video you say you were poor and in college and couldn't do more mods, but here we are again.
It's some things you just have to get. When opportunities come for special things, you gotta spend some money.
I like it. Let's do it.
The company that made my shift knob and my super overpriced, expensive, but awesome lug nuts, we are likewise dropped a special Halloween edition shift knob that when I sent the link
to Josh for his little GTI here, I thought it would match literally perfect with the theme here. Oh my gosh, we got the Blood Splatter Halloween edition, limited edition Deathgrip shift knob for Josh's MK7 GTI. So sick. This is one of the most gaudy shift knobs that they have with the spike on the top. That's why it's called the Deathgrip. We have up top the little engraved, laser engraved, the LW for likewise, and then down the entire Deathgrip and all 360 around is one of one unique blood splatter pattern for each one, which is pretty sick. And so we copied the limited edition one for Josh's GTI. So we can, add a little bit more spice to the interior because I know he's going with that red and black theme.
included because of the limited edition is also the blood splatter dog tag.
So this dog tag is meant to hang from the bottom of the shift knob on top of the shift boot, which should look pretty sick. Okay, and then we got more. We're gonna, obviously if we're doing a baller shift knob for the GTI, we've gotta get a cool shift boot. This may not be the final one that Josh wants to go with, but this will be a good start for now.
It's something to try out. I thought it would go along with it, along with the red and black pattern, so we'll give it a try and see.
I don't know why you would think that it would go with the red and black pattern, maybe because it's, black and
flannel.
Yeah, that looks sick. And this is made by Stitch Boots.
Yeah.
Josh's interior, MK7 GTI. We've got the manual edition, obviously. If you're putting a shift knob on an automatic car, you are a lame-o. Let's just get this out of here and get the new shift knob in. All right, just getting right into it.
Yeah. I gotta take the zip tie out now.
Got everything out of the way. We have the stock shift boot right there. Nice with the little ring around it, which we may try to fix really quick here because if you look at the top
weird
of
ass
his,
like plastic.
it got like screwed up.
This guy.
Install the likewise clamp adapter since the Euro cars are so weird and just have like this little odd shaped post. Oh, is it just clipped in?
Yeah, it's just clips.
Pulling all those little retainer
so you just
clips.
pop these tabs out all these little slots right here, and then this is like just adhesive. So you pull it off, you get double-sided tape, put your new one back on. So the shift boot will separate from this little silver piece, and this is the chrome trim that I was talking about that was chipped apart here, and you can see the white through it, and this is what he was nicking his fingers on when going into that center cubby. So what I think I'm gonna do is sand down all the silver off of this and lay down a couple coats of black and then try to mimic the blood splatter print on the likewise shift knob onto this little shift ring and see how that turns out. Boot trim piece sanded down, and all the clips and everything on the underside, what you're not gonna see is masked off, and then I'm just gonna paint this little visible ring, see how it turns out. Alright guys, and here's the finished product of the kind of temporary little fix, or long term, depending on how the paint holds up on this thing. And you can see just a little tiny blood splatter, did a little bit too much over there, but still gives off the effect. And it'll look a lot better than the chipped silver that was there before. It's all clipped in, looking sweet with the little custom paint that we did on the clip thing. And now, what are we working on? Now we're just gonna put it all back together.
Sweet. And that'll just hold that right where it needs to go. And you'll just squash it down over the shaft. So I'm gonna try a trick that I did on mine, since the fabric is a little bit more flimsy than the leather. What I did on mine was put the stock leather. So I know, it's janky.
Ratchet.
So you put it in there, okay? Yes. So just set that in there and then redo everything.
you. It was so good.
See how it looks. Here is the finished product with the leather underneath to kind of add for support, the dog tag on, the custom shift boot, and the little red blood splatter that you can just barely notice, but just kind of adds that nice little touch around the edge there. And the obvious main point here, the death grip with the blood splatter. Looks so sick. I'm gonna give you guys some cinematics. Josh got to clean his dirty ass car really quick.
It's a little crusty.
So he's gonna clean his interior really quick and make sure it's nice and clean for you guys. We'll jump into these cinematics and then we'll go for a drive and see how the death grip drives. Obviously not like that. Love the dog tag. Everything we did looks so cool. The little trim piece matches almost perfectly, you can see in the video, to everything else. And I think the flannel pattern is a nice little contrast between that, even though it's still that black and red. It kind of breaks up the pattern. I think it looks super sweet, and feels really weird to, I don't know, shift, because we shift like this usually. And, you know, but sometimes I shift like this. So the finger grooves are really nice on the side. And yeah, it's a really cool thing. I think the dog tag is my favorite part. How it matches everything, and I think that's Josh's as well. Everything just looks super cool on the interior. Today we're going to be doing another modification to Josh's Mark 7 GTI. Forge blow-off valve, diverter valve. So we got a nice little package from Forge Motorsport. We already unboxed it. We've got this little diverter valve slash blow-off valve. It's going to get you those psh, psh noises, those psh, psh noises, you know, because Josh's car is literally slow and he wants to just make lots of noises. So we're gonna toss this little bad boy on there. It also comes with this little vacuum actuator, I guess, not sure. A little vacuum line and a whole bunch of pieces and parts and a little cable and such and whatnot. So we'll get all into that. But basically what Josh has started on is taking off the engine cover, boop, and then the back elbow of his intake. If you have the stock intake, you just want to get access to right back that little piece right there. It's got Allen bolts holding it on.
First things first.
Unplug that little plug.
Yeah.
Right now, Josh is working on these tough ass little Allens. Allen screws, bolts on the diverter valve. The bottom one is pretty tough to get off. He's almost gotten it though. Try not to drop anything in the engine bay. Josh got the stock diverter valve out of there. Let's take a look at this nice little piston design. These have been on like GTIs with turbos forever. And yeah, we're gonna switch it out with a nice little diverter slash blow off from Forge. So we're gonna take off this little Y section of this vacuum line right here.
This part that goes right here, this line has got to come off.
But they include some little O-rings that you're supposed to put in prior to installation. So we're gonna toss those in right now. So there's a big one and a small one. The small one goes there, and the big one there. Have the new BOV installed with the included hardware. Josh just pulled off this little vacuum line right here that we showed you guys earlier. Boop. All right, Josh threw this little doodad together. What do we got here? Put the little...
It's just the actuator. You put the bolts in, hold it into place. And you want the clip going left from the top. And then this is just gonna go right
there. Perfect.
Put a little T in here.
Little plastic T that comes with it, and you install a little bit of the hose that they provide.
And then this guy.
That's gonna go in the place where you pull off the hose, right?
Slides in there. That's nice. A little long though, so I'm gonna
trim that down. All right, so that's what it's gonna look like. So the existing hose gets moved to this side of the T, and then you just clip a little bit off of the section of the hose that they give you and put it where this hose was. And you add in this little three-way junction, which adds an extra port to where this was just originally going into there. Okay, and the next little tube that we made was going off that open section of the junction that we just put in, and that goes into the port that sticks towards the firewall on the little tap on the bracket down here. Helpful diagram for you guys here. If you're doing this install along with us, you can screenshot right here. I know that it looks very weird coming through on the camera on the iPhone, but this will kind of give you a little bit of help, and this is what we're following. So screenshot this if you need help knowing to where to run the hoses.
Yeah, that is the one. Oh,
okay. Got that last hose ran. This is the top one, and that's going to the one facing
that way.
This way, towards the battery. And it's really hard to show you guys, but we have all the hoses connected now. Everything is connected where it needs to go, and we have
make sure you run it down under so you still have space for your intake afterwards.
Yeah, make sure it's out of the way of the intake hose, because obviously this is your inlet right here, so you know that's out of the way.
This last little guy.
Last little daisy chain plug is going to plug into the actuator. Nice. Where it used to plug into, this used to plug into the stock DV, and now that's going to plug into the daisy chain. He backside of his intake put back on. He double checked all the hose connections on his intake, because we out here, you know, no boost leak gang out here. We ain't trying to have boost leaks. But his engine cover back on, and that is the completed install. Let's go give this thing a rip around the neighborhood, around a couple streets, to see how the Forge BOV diverter valve slash thingy-majigger sounds on the MK7 GTI, and see if it added some cool whooshy bangy noises. Okay, give me the flutter. So now we get these crazy bird chirps after every single shift, which is super cool. It is so freaking loud. Gosh, and then this is with windows closed because it's cold as balls. It does it like after every shift. It's crazy. Yeah, so for 250 bucks and not a very difficult install with this much turbo flutter on shifts, I highly recommend this mod. I think it's a great little starter mod for somebody with a MK7. You know, not looking to do crazy track monster build, kind of just looking to have fun with their first modified car, or kind of, you know, an enthusiast that just likes noises. This is probably a little bit obnoxious for the more mature enthusiast, but for Josh here, who's in college and is modifying his first MK7 GTI, this is a great little mod. A lot of noise for the bucks. I'll leave it down in the description below, and hopefully Josh can make some more cheddar here in a little bit and get some more mods coming to the GTI, but we are going at a nice little pace here. Sick. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.